The House will come to order. Members, please register. Have all members registered? Quorum is present. The House and Gallery, please rise for invocation, which will be offered by the Honorable Will Metcalf of Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, if you'll bow your head in prayer, let's go to our Heavenly Father. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bestowing your divine mercies over this body during the last 140 days. Thank you for the blessings of health and safety as we gather to represent your people who live in the greatest state in the nation and the greatest nation in the world. It is you who has guided us in making decisions on behalf of nearly 30 million Texans for the betterment of our state. We thank you for our staff and all the legislative support staff who are some of the hardest working people in this state. They are the public servants behind the scenes who make all of our success happen. We pray today for our colleague, Representative Shine, as he undergoes the medical procedure. Thank you for the outstanding leadership of our Speaker, who has guided this body through a challenging session and maintained an atmosphere of open debate so that each of our districts were represented freely. And most importantly, thank you for watching over and protecting our families while we have been away. Thank you for comforting them and us. We pray that you continue to watch over this body as we depart the people's house and return to our loved ones this week. While we are home in our communities with our families, help us to remember that it is you who is in control of all things. It is you who knows what tomorrow holds. It is you and only you who can restore peace in our nation and our world. We love you, we praise you, and we thank you for all these things. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Tracy King of Uvalde County to lead us in the pledges of allegiance to the United States and Texas flag.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, on this Memorial Day, let's remember all those that have given so that we can be here, and join with me in the House and Gallery. Everybody rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the nation's flag and then to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag.
Mr. Chenhold, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully request that my parliamentary inquiries concerning the individuals who did not honor their oath to almost 30 million Texans by leaving the House floor last night be reduced to writing and placed in the journal, sir.
Members, you've heard the motions of objection. Chair hears none, so ordered.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Doorkeeper.
Mr. Speaker, I have a messenger from the Senate at the door of the House.
Admit the messenger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm directed by the Senate to inform the House that the Senate has taken the following action. The Senate has concurred in the House amendments to the following measures. SB 1921, 31 yeas, 0 nays. The Senate has adopted the following conference committee reports. HB 20, 21 yeas, 10 nays. HB 492, 30 yeas, 1 nay. HB 3774, 31 yeas, 0 nays. HB 4492, 25 yeas, 6 nays. SB 2, 27 yeas, 4 nays. SB 3, 31 yeas, 0 nays. SB 1281, 31 yeas, 0 nays. SB 1648, 31 yeas, 0 nays. SB 1776, 23 yeas, 8 nays. Respectfully, Patsy Spall, Secretary of the Senate.
Thank you, sir. The following message from the governor, the clerk will read the message.
To the members of the Senate and House Representatives of the 87th Texas Legislature regular session, I hereby return the enrolled copy of House Bill 1322 along with this message to the House of Representatives for further consideration of technical corrections. Respectfully submitted, Greg Abbott, Governor.
The chair announces the signing of the following in the presence of the House.
HCR 112, HCR 111, HCR 110, HCR 109, HCR 108, HB 4638, HB 4628, HB 4584, HB 4374, HB 4294, HB 4124, HB 4110, HB 4018, HB 3973, HB 3924, HB 3898, HB 3752, HB 3720, HB 3648, HB 3607, HB 3578, HB 3476, HB 3459, HB 3282, HB 2658, HB 2483, HB 2462, HB 2315, HB 1929, HB 1869, HB 1758, HB 1560, HB 1540, HB 1493, HB 1281, HB 900, HB 769, HB 686, HB 572, HB 700, HB 1520, HB 2064, HB 2352, HB 2497, HB 2519, HB 2607, HB 2730, HB 2721, HB 2850, HB 2857, HB 2896, HB 2911, HB 2924, HB 2950, HB 2951, HB 3009, HB 3026, HB 3115, HB 3121, HB 3131, HB 3135, HB 3140, HB 3157, HB 3203, HB 3217, HB 3257, HB 3261, HB 3271, HB 3286, HB 3324, HB 3433, HB 3436, HB 3512, HB 3530, HB 3597, HB 3617, HB 3630, HB 4580, HB 4606, HB 4612, HB 4615, HB 4626, HB 4662, HB 4663, HB 4666, HB 4667, HB 4669, HCR 62, HCR 84, HJR 99. HCR 54, HCR 89, HCR 107, HB 525, HB 3643, HB 3107, HB 3374, HB 3379, HB 3388, HB 3415, HB 3452, HB 3521, HB 3571, HB 3584, HB 3665, HB 3712, HB 3767, HB 3807, HB 3821, HB 3853, HB 3927, HB 3932, HB 3938, HB 3961, HB 3979, HB 4056, HB 4103, HB 4293, HB 4346, HB 4344, HB 4368, HB 4472, HB 4509, HB 4545, HB 4555, HB 4590, HB 4604, HB 4609, HB 4611, HB 4614, HB 4616, HB 4634, HB 4635, HB 4641, HB 4642, HB 4645-44, HB 4645, HB 4646, HB 4649, HB 4650, HB 4651, HB 4652, HB 4654, HB 4658, HB 4559, HB 4665.
The following resolutions on first reading and referral, the clerk will read the resolutions.
H.R. 1981 by King of Uvalde, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1983 by Wyatt, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1984 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1985 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1986 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1987 by Niave, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1988 by Niave, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1989 by Niave, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1989 by Niave, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1990 by Cassell, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1991 by Cassell, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1992 by Vasut, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1995 by Price, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1996 by Meza, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1998 by Gonzalez of Dallas, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 1999 by Turner of Dallas, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2000 by Davis, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2001 by Price, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2002 by Price, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2003 by Gonzalez of El Paso, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2004 by Gonzalez of El Paso, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2010 by Bowers, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2011 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2012 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2013 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2015 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2016 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2017 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2018 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2019 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2020 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2021 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2023 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2024 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2025 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2026 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2028 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2029 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2030 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2031 by Buckley, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2032 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2033 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2034 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2035 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2036 by Swanson, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2037 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2038 by Swanson, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2039 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2040 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2041 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2042 by Vo, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2043 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2044 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2045 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2046 by Cassell, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2047 by Cassell, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2048 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2049 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2050 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2051 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2051 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2052 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2053 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2054 by Shine, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2055 by Shine, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2056 by Shine, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2057 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2058 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2059 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2060 by Johnson of Dallas, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2061 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2062 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2063 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2064 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2065 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2066 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2067 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2068 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2069 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2070 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2071 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2072 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2073 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2074 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2075 by Johnson of Dallas, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2077 by Garrow, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2078 by Garrow, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2079 by Gervin Hawkins, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2080 by Moody, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2081 by Niave, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2082 by Guillen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2083 by Allen, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2087 by Cassell, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2088 by Anchia, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2089 by Turner of Dallas, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2090 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2091 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2092 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2094 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2095 by Toth, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2096 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2097 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2098 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2099 by Niave, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2100 by Spiller, refer to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars.
Members, can we get a round of applause for the reading clerk? The chair recognizes Mr. Guillen for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move to suspend all necessary rules to allow the chair of the Resolutions Calendars Committee to prepare and distribute a suspension congratulatory memorial resolutions calendar to be considered later today at a time to be determined by the Speaker.
Members, you heard the motion. There's objection. Chair hears on order. Mr. Guillen's still working, even though it's sunny day. Members, we have a few corrective resolutions that will require a record vote. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 114 by Shaheen, instructing the enrolling clerk of the House of Representatives to make a correction in HB 1322.
The chair recognizes Mr. Shaheen to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, House Resolution 114 is a correcting resolution to change the effective date of House Bill 1322 from 2021 to 2023. There's concern that the agencies may be sued or rules become void if the plain language summary required by the bill does not tie exactly to a proposed rule. Kind of be like a point of order. This technical correction ensures that any ambiguity can be addressed next legislative session. Move adoption.
The question occurs on the adoption of the resolution. HCR 114 is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Have all members voted? There being 125 ayes, 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 117 by Huberty, instructing the enrolling clerk of the House of Representatives to make corrections in HB 1525.
The chair recognizes Mr. Huberty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, HCR 117 makes some minor technical changes to House Bill 1525 we passed yesterday. There was an amendment the Senate added dealing with the shacks. We removed a portion of it that talked about the public comments. That was agreed to. There was a couple references in the bill. And there was also in the report included additional repealer that was not part of the House or the Senate version. This HR simply removes that items. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your sign today. It's been an honor to serve with you during the 87 sessions. I move passage.
The question occurs on the adoption of HCR 117. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Mr. Huberty voting aye. Ms. Rose voting aye. Mr. Morales of Maverick voting aye. All members voting. There being 132 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 119 by Vasut, instructing the enrolling clerk of the House to make corrections in HB 1987.
The chair recognizes Mr. Vasut to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, as mentioned last night, this is the correcting resolution to bring the language in House Bill 1987 that the Senate passed in line to what the House passed, and a move adoption.
The question occurs on the adoption of HCR 119. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Rose voting aye. All members voting. There being 132 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. The chair lays out the following privilege resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 116 by Sanford, instructing the enrolling clerk of the House to make corrections in HB 4627.
The chair recognizes Mr. Sanford to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, HCR 116 makes a technical change to HB 4627. There is a drafting error, and this corrects that error. Move passage.
The question occurs on the adoption of HCR 116. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Rose voting aye. Show Mr. Leach voting aye. All members voting. There have been 130 ayes and 0 nays. The resolution is adopted. The following resolutions on first reading and referral, the clerk will read the resolutions.
H.R. 2101 by Hernandez, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2102 by Smithy, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars. H.R. 2103 by Crockett, referred to the Committee on Resolutions Calendars.
Is Mr. Leach on the floor of the House? The chair lays out the following privilege resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
HCR 118 by Leach, instructing the enrolling clerk of the House of Representatives to make corrections in HB 3774.
The chair recognizes Mr. Leach to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, HCR 118 is simply a technical correction for the Omnibus Courts Bill. This is affecting the effective date for the Bell County District Court to match the creation date for the court. With that, Mr. Speaker, I move adoption.
The question occurs on the adoption of HCR 118. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Rose voting aye, Mr. Leach voting aye. All members voting. There being 134 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Mr. Metcalf. Members, the chair recognizes Mr. Metcalf for several very important recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, at this time, I'd like us to welcome the House Research Organization to the dais. Members, the work of the Texas House of Representatives has been greatly aided this session by the outstanding work of the House Research Organization. Each of us rely on the Each of us rely on the impartial information the HRO provides in its daily floor report, as well as in other publications. The organization plays a key role in keeping us informed on many significant policy issues. Ms. Laura Hendrickson has worked tirelessly to direct her staff as well, and we are so thankful for all she has done. I'd like to recognize her at this time, as well as her staff, Kelly Duracek, Janet Elliott, Casey Florin, Allison Hearn, Collie Lewis, Mike Marco, Andrew McNair, Mackenzie Nunez, Robin Burkhouse, and Madison Smith. Thank you, Ms. Hendrickson, and thank you to the House Research Organization. Members, at this time, I'd like for us to welcome the Legislative Reference Library. Members, Ms. Mary Camp and her outstanding staff in the Legislative Research Library have been the expert assistance necessary to the legislators and our staffs. They have worked hard to support the House and Texas citizens. Ms. Camp and her staff have provided vital tools to the legislative process, and we could never do what we do without them. Ms. Camp, we are extremely grateful for all that you do for us. I'd like to thank the rest of her staff as well. Ms. Catherine Wooster-Housen, Michelle Martinez, Karen McBurney, Ewu Wood, Chris Taylor, Amber Body, Lena Dean, Anna Cifuentes Martinez, and Elizabeth Buchanan. Thank you for being flexible and enduring and so committed to the strong traditions of the state of Texas and to the House. We are so grateful for all you do. Do you want to read this, or how do you want to do this? your comments. Is that good? Here, Jerry. Members, Representative Drew Darby filed House Resolution 1044, and we would like to have the DPS officers come onto the dais at this time. Thank you for being here. These dedicated men and women have worked hard to keep us safe each and every day. Under the leadership of Regional Director David Cabrera, the Region 7 Department of Public Safety works tirelessly, carries the responsibility of protecting and serving legislators and state employees. They're hardworking and professional, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few of the essential staff: Captain Tim Carradine, Carrie Reyes, Rebecca Butler, Lieutenant Craig Henry, and Lieutenant Todd Ashby. As you are well aware, there are many more officers that we want to thank. We are grateful to them as well, and we thank the entire department for their hard work this session, and I believe Representative Darby has a few words he'd like to say.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, we passed House Resolution 1044 recognizing the extraordinary service of our DPS. Since we first came into session on opening day, they've been with us. They help test us, they help protect us, and they help watch over not only our Capitol grounds during the rain, during the storms, during extraordinary weather events. They're with us today, not only on the dais, but in the gallery. And I'd like for each one of us to recognize the extraordinary service to not only to this body, but to the state of Texas that the DPS and the Department of Public Safety recognize. So let's stand and give them a round of applause.
Members, at this time, we're going to welcome the Texas Legislative Council. Some of the hardest working individuals are up here on the dais right now. The staff of the Texas Legislative Council worked through the night on dozens of occasions throughout this session to meet deadlines with the heavy workload. The IT team keeps one of the most sophisticated networks of databases, applications, infrastructure, and websites humming 24/7. They meet constant demands and do not get enough recognition for the work they do. Members, these men and women work extremely hard for often a thankless job and deserve a great deal of gratitude. At this time, I'd like to thank Mr. Jeff Archer, who has directed his staff well. Along with Mr. Archer, we have Kimberly Shields, John Heinig, Julie Calhoun, Carrie Eskridge, Joe Diana, Larry Hosek, Roxanne Hoffman, Tom Grasser, Janet Sullivan, and Marcus West. Thank you for all you have done for us this session. All right, members, at this time, we're going to welcome the House Journal Clerks. We each owe a thank you to our House Journal Clerks, Ms. Jennifer Teagan Doran. Ms. Doran's office works hard to prepare, publish, and maintain the official journals of the House proceedings in order to keep our legislative history available on a daily basis. They put in a monumental effort to describe our legislative debate and make it available to our constituents each and every day. Ms. Doran and her team work very hard to support the great state of Texas, and I'd like to recognize them at this time. We have Scotty Hagan, Giselle Ricciana, Ashley Brown, Emily Robinson, Kirsten Wilmeth, Emily Cantwell, David Sutwell, and Callie Souter. Thank you for all you do. Your tireless efforts have been so important throughout our session. Thank you. Members, at this time, we're going to welcome the Committee Coordinator's Office. Ms. Stacy Nicchio has done an excellent job working around the clock to make sure all of our committees run smoothly so we can get our bills passed. Along with the help of Damian Durotre, the Assistant Committee Coordinator, and the clerks Lauren Bustamante and Thomas Weiss, Stacy and her team have been instrumental in supporting our many committees, chairmen, and committee clerks. We couldn't do our jobs without them. Please join me in welcoming them here today. Thank you, Stacy, Damian, Lauren, and Thomas. Members, at this time, we're going to recognize the Chief Clerk's Office. Mr. Robert Haney and his staff in the Chief Clerk's Office have been instrumental in the important and detailed work of record keeping and filing our bills, along with a number of other key duties. Their work is vital to the legislative process, and Mr. Haney and his staff have worked extremely hard this session to support us and our staff for the thousands of bills, resolutions, and amendments we filed the past 140 days. They work hard for each of us each and every day, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize each of Chief Clerks Robert Haney's staff by name: Mark Cervantes, Stephen Brown, Andrew Holcomb, Haley Hildebrand, Will Vasquez, and Kate Atwood. Thank you for everything you've done for us this session. Members, at this time, we'd like to welcome the House Business Office. I'd like to take a moment to thank the House Business Office for all their hard work this session. And under the leadership of Mr. James Freeman, these men and women have worked long, hard hours to support us, and we couldn't do our jobs without them. James and his team have been a considerable asset to all of us. Each day, they work hard to make sure our staff gets paid, our offices get furnished, and so much more. I'd like to thank James and the managers here today, Mr. Scott Siebert, Reuben Aguillon, Monty Perkins, Vernon Green, Pat Mills, Amy Cadenhead, Scott Williams, Mike Blackwell, and Gabe Reyes. Thank you again to Mr. Freeman and his team, who I've had the honor of working closely with this session. We could not do this without you or your wonderful staff. Members, at this time, we'd like to honor our House Sergeants, who we've all become close with. Yes. Members, the House Sergeants work very hard to support us each and every day. Sergeant Michael Black and his team are instrumental part of this process, and the House Sergeants support us here on the floor tirelessly. Sergeant Black and his dedicated staff himself to maintaining order in the House chamber, meeting rooms, securing the attendance of members, and assisting all of our officers in the duties. His Assistant Sergeant at Arms, Ms. Kara Coffey, has worked diligently to oversee the daily activities of the sergeant's messengers who contribute to the efficiency of the legislative process in instrumental ways. I'd like to thank Sergeant Black, Ms. Kara Coffey, and the supervisors here on the dais, Jacob Del Bosque, Kyle Pyler, Devin Peterson, Anthony Hester, Dylan Humphrey, Kyle Burke, and Alejandra Herndon. Members, we have too many house sergeants to put on the dais together, so I'd like to ask all of our sergeants to stand by the rails so we may recognize you at this time and thank you for your tireless work. Thank you, Sergeant Black and your staff. Members, last but not least, I'd like to take a moment to give a round of applause for our parliamentarians, Mr. Hugh Brady and Sharon Carter. Thank you for all your work this session. Members, thank you. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Mr. Holland, what are you wearing? Is that denim? No. Duly noted. Mr. Frulo, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to make a motion to have Chairman Patty's comments on the layout of conference committee report on HB 4492 yesterday be reduced to writing and put in the journal.
Members who heard the motion, the objection, chair hears none, so ordered. Members, please take your seats for today's Memorial Day recognitions. The chair recognizes Mr. Raymond for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move to suspend all necessary rules, take up and consider H.R. 1978.
Members, you heard the motion. The objection to the motion, chair hears none, so ordered.
Could I ask...
Following resolution.
Sorry.
Mr. Raymond will read the resolution.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Could I ask veterans to come up here and join me, please, and Mr. Price? Veterans, please come up here. Any veterans in the room? Yeah, the good-looking ones up front. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, as you know, today is Memorial Day. This resolution I'd like to read and make a few comments after that. Whereas every Memorial Day, millions of citizens across Texas and the nation gather to remember those heroic men and women in uniform who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our country. And whereas originally known as Decoration Day for the practice of decorating the graves of soldiers with flowers once a year, this holiday began after the Civil War as a remembrance of those who had died in the war. Celebrated on May 30th and subsequent decades, the holiday became known as Memorial Day, a day to honor all of the country's fallen in all of its wars since the early 1970s. The day has been observed on the last Monday in May. And whereas the nation's most solemn Memorial Day ceremony occurs in Arlington National Cemetery at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where the remains of unidentified Americans from World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War are interred in the marbled monument and in the adjacent plaza, accompanied by honor guards from all branches of the military. The President of the United States traditionally lays a wreath at the tomb, and the ceremony is further solemnized by the sounding of taps, the haunting bugle call that has been performed at military funerals and memorials since the Civil War. And whereas at the same time, in cities large and small across the nation, veterans and their fellow citizens gather in cemeteries and other public places to remember fallen comrades and to pay tribute to those who died to protect our liberty and our republic. These ceremonies are also graced by the stirring echoes of taps. And by tradition, the United States flag is briskly raised to full staff at the beginning of the day and then lowered slowly to half staff, where it remains until noon, where it is raised to full staff again. And whereas the toll of freedom is high, in the years since the founding of our republic, more than 1 million American military personnel have died in U.S. wars, and each year on Memorial Day, Americans gather to pay tribute to those courageous men and women who, in the words of President Abraham Lincoln, gave the last full measure of devotion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the House of Representatives of the 87th Texas Legislature hereby recognize Memorial Day 2021 in solemn commemoration of all those who have died in the service of our nation. Mr. Speaker, I move passage.
The question occurs on adoption of the resolution. All in favor, please rise. The resolution is adopted.
Members, please sit down. Members, I want to take a moment in remembering over 1 million people, Americans who have died so that we could be here today, so that we could debate, so we could argue, so that we could put forth ideas that we felt so strongly about, that we ran for office and got elected. I've often said As proud as I am to now be serving my 27th year in this House, and I think this is a very, very important position, a very important job. The job I do and that we do, in my view, with all due respect, and not nearly as important as the job that everyone in the military has done in protecting this country. And the million lives, a million people who gave their lives so that we could be here today, that to me is the most important thing you could ever do. One of my great regrets is that I did not enlist in the military. It is one of my great regrets because I was raised by people who were my mentors from World War II and the Korean War, but there weren't wars going on when I finished high school, but I regret it. And I committed myself when I got elected to do everything I could to help veterans and their families, and I think all of us are committed to that. I want to say as we finish up, and I want to thank the veterans who are here and Mr. Price who joint authored this resolution, that as we finish this session, I know that we're all tired and some of us might be a little grumpy, but the fact is at the end of this session, all of us voted for bills that we were very happy passed. All of us, every single one of us, 150 of us, voted for bills that we were glad passed and will make, we believe, this state better, a better state for more people. And one of the things that I learned working for two United States senators who were both veterans, Lloyd Bentsen of Texas, Paul Simon of Illinois, both of them veterans, World War II and Korea. And I learned from them, they told me, don't ever doubt that those who get elected and serve with you love this state and this country as much as everyone else in this chamber. And at times you may have differing opinions on how you make it a better place for more people, but don't ever, ever question that. And so I don't. I don't question that everyone here loves this state and this country and that you want to make it a better place. And although at times we will disagree, we have agreed so many more times than we have disagreed. Don't ever forget that, members. And with that, thank God for the United States military. Thank God for those who stand here that served. And thank you, God, for all those who had to give their lives. Finally, I'll say this, although he wasn't the veteran, I often wondered what it was like when I'd see parents who lost someone in war, a child especially. I often wondered what that was like. I knew it had to be hard. And during this interim, I had to say this before the session ended. This will be the first time that I served since 1997 without my son. Aaron, I love you, pal.
Thank you, members. The chair recognizes Mr. Elzey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, Colonel Shine, First Lieutenant Tyndall, First Lieutenant Robert Tyndall, First Lieutenant Robert E. Tyndall, Colonel Wilson,
Here.
Captain Blanco, Captain Ernesto Blanco, Captain Ernesto M. Blanco, Major General Green, Major General Harold Green, Major General Harold J. Green, Lieutenant Commander Schaefer, Staff Sergeant Farley, Staff Sergeant Derek Farley, Staff Sergeant Derek J. Farley, Major Tinderholt, Specialist 4 Smalling,
Specialist for Bobby Smalling. Specialist for Bobby M. Smalling. Captain White. Here. Private Boyd. Private Carter Boyd. Private Carter O. Boyd. Captain Cortez.
Here, sir.
Private First Class Rangel. Private First Class Jose Rangel. Private First Class Jose E. Rangel. Captain Anderson.
Here.
Sergeant Kniefeeler. Sergeant George Kniefeeler. Sergeant George E. Kniefeeler. First Lieutenant Rainey.
Here.
Captain Rainey. Captain James Rainey. Captain James E. Rainey. Staff Sergeant Lopez.
Here.
Staff Sergeant White. Staff Sergeant James White. Staff Sergeant James T. White. Specialist Jatan.
Here.
Specialist Wynn. Specialist Dan Wynn. Specialist Dan H. Wynn. Lieutenant Dye. Lieutenant William Dye. Lieutenant William J. Dye. Lieutenant Bergstrom. Lieutenant David Bergstrom. Lieutenant David E. Bergstrom. Petty Officer Second Class Schwedler. Petty Officer Second Class Joseph Schwedler. Petty Officer Second Class Joseph Clark Schwedler.
Members, please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you, members. Members, Mr. Price moves to add all members' names to the resolutions. Objection, chair hears none, so ordered. Mr. Hunter, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
Is today sine die?
According to my calendar, it is sine die.
But I hear we may be getting a little coastal breeze in the fall. So
it feels that way in the back of my neck.
That's
Mr.
right.
Hunter.
Mr. Speaker, in your honor, my mask is coming off.
Are your gloves coming off, Mr.
My
Hunter?
gloves are coming off.
It is definitely sine die if your gloves are coming off.
And Mr. Speaker, on behalf of everybody watching in the gallery, your House membership, your colleagues, I've known you since 1994. My hair used to look like you.
My forehead was not as big as it is.
That is correct. Sometimes I look like Elsie, but we want to tell you, we always go through ups and downs. That's the nature of the legislature. But what we're really here to tell you is You did a great job. Thanks for being a friend to the Texas House of Representatives. Thanks for standing up for the Texas House. Thanks for bringing integrity to the Texas House. And you know what? You've been a speaker who's been a friend one-on-one. So for everybody here, please stand up, everybody. Let's thank Speaker Dade Phelan. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Thank you all. This was, I do have some remarks, but, and I will say as we draw a close on the 87th session, I want to take stock of what we've done in this House. Coming in with COVID and the first pandemic in 102 years, budget deficit, we maintained our commitment to public education and to higher education when no one thought we could do that. But we did it. We were hit with a winter storm that I've never seen in my lifetime, and maybe many of you never seen in your lifetime. And we made great progress on strengthening our grid, reforming the PUC, reforming ERCOT in a very short period of time. And we have more work to do. We expanded rural broadband, telehealth, impact millions of Texans. Huge, huge gains coming out of a pandemic. Both of those items right there. It was a priority of the Speaker's office to make certain we had meaningful criminal justice reforms. For the first time in this state's history. We prioritized healthcare reforms, bipartisan, both of them. Maternal mortality, Ms. Tony Rose, in a decades-long crusade, many members on this body, it's going to be law. Last night was an interesting night, to say the least. We strengthened our children's health insurance program last night. Children's health insurance will be better off because of this body, and we made it a priority. We defended our constitutional liberties. Every member of this body was productive. I can tell you that no matter the external forces that try to distract us or diminish the work of this body, we are the Texas House. In this House, we work hard, and our rules matter. Our rules matter. Each of you have a voice. And I said at the beginning of this session, you come here, you work hard, you treat others with respect, you vote your district, you're going to have a great session. And those who did that, I think, had a great session. So many of you worked hard. You really did. And I appreciate you. I take great comfort. In my opening day remarks, I said that we are not alone. We have a vital part to play. The future of this state still lies in the hands of our Creator. And it's, He's entrusted us to do this work in this chamber. And you should be proud of that. I wanted to make certain each of you had the opportunity to represent your districts and your viewpoints and your districts faithfully. And I think you've had that opportunity. The rules applied to everyone 100%. Even when some of you didn't like it. Or maybe some of the people outside this chamber didn't like it. The rules mattered. To say this session was unique would be an understatement. Every day was something new. But we persevered. There's a lot of work to be done. But Texas is better off because of the work that was done in the Texas House of Representatives. We will be back. When, I don't know. But we will be back. There's a lot of work to be done. But I look forward to doing it with every single one of you. Dr. Oliver, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if it would be a proper parliamentary inquiry, but I wanted to take an opportunity to thank you on behalf of all of us for your work on health care reform. It's not lost on me, as I don't think it's lost on anybody in this room, that you made that a priority from day one, which was a unique event in this Capitol. It only happened here. It was your priority. You made it your priority. And we didn't just talk about the stuff that we knew we would fight over and probably not get around to doing anyway. Instead, we worked across the aisle in a bipartisan fashion, you working with us to identify things that we could do, things that would make a difference, things that would actually expand access, that would lower costs, especially for our rural and underserved communities in this state. We did things that were groundbreaking, things that really have never been done, things that only a handful of states have done, and things that we should have done a long time ago. But finally, we had a speaker who was willing to put the full power and force of his office behind the things that we knew that we needed to do for decades, as you said. So whether it's telehealth, coverage expansion, using some of these novel models that we've created, price transparency, lowering costs on life-saving medications like insulin, which is going to save millions of lives, not to mention hundreds of millions of dollars. Mr. Speaker, I just want to thank you on behalf of all of us for putting health care as one of your top priorities.
Thank you, Dr. Alverson. We have a lot of work to do. Honestly, I think House Bill 18 is something that every state in this country should adopt. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Cortez, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, I had some general questions.
You can ask general questions.
Mr. Speaker, last night, everything that was going on, there was an important piece of legislation that was included in House Bill 2658 by Chairman James Frank, and that was House Bill 290. And that happened because of your leadership. Texas children are going to be better off because of you standing up for this bill, which was House Bill 290. Were you aware, Mr. Speaker, that House Bill 290, some form of that, has been filed since 2009 in every session and has never passed both chambers and been sent to the governor's office?
I am aware, yes, sir. It's because of your hard work and your perseverance. It happened on the 139th day of the 87th session.
139 out of 140.
Yes, sir.
And we got it done. You listed House Bill 290 as part of your Healthy Families, Healthy Texas initiative. And early on, you proclaimed that this is one of your top priorities to get passed, and you succeeded. And we succeeded as a Texas House because of your leadership for Texas kids. And now 290 has will clear many bureaucratic hurdles for Texas children. And even though there was constant back and forth between the two chambers, and the Senate ultimately let it go earlier this week, we never gave up on that. You and I met consistently. Last night we were meeting one-on-one to talk about how can we save this legislation to ensure that 60,000 Texas children can benefit from the passage of this legislation. And you committed to me. You said, we're going to get it done somehow, some way, in a bipartisan way. And so, because of you, Speaker, and because of all of us here standing here today, House Bill 290 will become law, and 60,000 Texas children will be better because of it. So thank you for your leadership, your bipartisan leadership that you've given us, and thank you for highlighting House Bill 290 as one of your priorities.
Thank you, but more importantly, congratulations, Mr. Cortez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Ms. Rose, for a purpose.
Because I just want to be here. No. Parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
Well, I don't think it's really a parliamentary inquiry. Y'all know we all out of order, so I'm just going to say what I need to say, Mr. Speaker.
I expect nothing less, Ms. Rose.
But, Mr. Speaker, I was not going to allow everyone to give you acknowledgments for your work in healthcare this legislative session without also acknowledging the work that you did with, the work that we accomplished with House Bill 133. Now, as you all know, prior to this legislation being passed, the Maternal Mortality and Morbidity Task Force, as well as Health and Human Services Commission, have stated that the #1 preventable cause to end maternal mortality is to expand Medicaid services. Is that not correct, Mr. Speaker?
You are 100% correct.
And so I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's no secret that I represent a district that is very underserved. And I do believe that this legislation will be very helpful to the women who have babies, or those women who choose to be mothers in my district. And I think this legislation is groundbreaking. As I stated on the night that I laid it out, it was a win for all mothers. Although we had a reduction in the amount of months that we were requesting, it's still a win for Texas mothers. And I want to thank you for your support on it, because there's no doubt in my mind that had you not put your leadership behind it, that we may not have been accomplished it. One of the things I failed to do that night was acknowledge Ms. T, because she's also one who has carried that bill many a times in this chamber, and I wanted to acknowledge her for her work, as well as thank Senator Cole, of course, for getting it done over in the Senate. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ms. Rose, congratulations. It was a truly huge win for Texas mothers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Middleton, for what purpose?
I had a couple comments here, if you recognize me.
Yes, sir. I would recognize you for comments.
I wanted to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your service this session. And I think a lot of members here don't realize that we actually serve districts right next door to each other. So we've been through a lot of hurricanes together. We've been through a lot of tropical storms together. We've been talking by text and by phone every single time there's a storm coming through, like when the highway was overtopped the other day when we had that big rainstorm. And I've watched you serve your community. I've watched you go in there into people's houses, hand out bottled water. I've watched you take out their things that are wet from storm surge or their roof blowing off. And I think the people of Texas need to know that servant leadership that's in your heart. And I want to thank you for that, because that is that special kind of Gulf Coast Texas grit that we have in South Texas. And you've brought that special Gulf Coast kind of Texas grit to this body and to this chamber. You've brought that type of leadership for not just us, but for everybody in this entire state, despite the many sacrifices that you've had to make personally for your family and your time away. Because I know you have a family of young boys just like me. Your youngest is a lot like my youngest. I think Luke is like Matthew. All our gray hairs are, from the youngest. All of our worries are from the youngest. But you missed a lot of Little League games. You missed a lot of soccer practices. And you've done that for us. You've done that for everyone in this chamber. You've done that for this state. And you've got a big Catholic family too, so I know you've missed a bunch of family events. Maybe that's a good thing, because my mom's side is a large Catholic family like yours, and there are a lot of crazy aunts and uncles. So maybe that's the silver lining here of serving. But I know that's the time that you're happiest, is back home with your kids and your family, and you have given us that precious time for this state. So on behalf of all the members, on behalf of the state of Texas, I want to thank you for all you've done for us this session, your service to this state.
Thank you, Mr. Middleton. I know the Edwards family very well, and they are a big family just like mine, but my sacrifices are y'all's sacrifices. We all leave a lot on the table when we come up here. We all miss a lot of Little League games or dance recitals. I don't miss any dance recitals, but some of y'all miss dance recitals. But we do sacrifice a lot, either in our personal life and our business life. And I think I speak for all 149 of y'all that we are ready to get home back to that life this summer, or as we can, and go back to doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is serving our community. And for you and Mr. Hunter and anyone else on the coast, Mr. Lozano, Dr. Bonin, Ms. Morrison, and others, we don't want to be mucking any homes and handing out bottled water this summer. So let's just have a restful, peaceful summer, and hopefully back here in the fall. But that's not my decision. That's someone else's decision. Mr. Middleton, thank you for those remarks. I appreciate you.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Doorkeeper,
Mr. Speaker, I have a messenger from the Senate at the door of
please
the House.
admit my favorite messenger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm directed by the Senate to inform the House that the Senate has taken the following action. The Senate has passed the following measures. SCR 59, Cold Course, instructing the enrolling clerk of the Senate to make corrections in SB number 968. SCR 60, Hancock, instructing the enrolling clerk of the Senate to make corrections in SB 1281, respectively.
Mr. Messenger, can you bring that down front, please?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to get a picture with you. Members, as a reminder, there is lunch in the back hall this afternoon. Mr. Tinderholt, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Texas House and the families of the fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen across our great nation and our great state, I respectfully request that the memorial session today be reduced to writing and placed in the journal so the families can see that forever.
Certainly, Mr. Tinderholt. Is there objection? The chair hears none. The motion is adopted. Is Ms. Click on the floor of the House? Is Mr. King or Parker on the floor of the House? Mr. Bell, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, I request that the Memorial Day remarks of Richard Raymond, Representative Raymond, be reduced to writing, placed in the journal.
Yes, sir. Members heard the motion. Objection. Chair hears none. So ordered. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
SCR 60 by Hancock, instructing the enrolling clerk of the Senate to make corrections in SB 1281.
The chair recognizes Mr. King to explain the resolution.
Mr. Speaker, members, yesterday this body passed some legislation dealing with building power lines and dealing with congestion and other issues. It was SB 1261? 81, SB 1281. And then late last night, the Senate passed it. And unfortunately, there's a difference in the words biannual and biennial that none of us quite caught. And so this changes biannual to biennial, which means that the study that the ERCOT and the PUC will do on weather-related issues for the grid will happen every other year, and then instead of twice a year. With that, I move adoption.
The question occurs on adoption of SCR 60. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk to ring the bell. Show Ms. Click voting aye. All members voting. There being 138 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution.
SCR 59 by Colcourse, instructing the ruling clerk of the Senate to make corrections in SB 968.
The chair recognizes Ms. Click to explain the resolution.
Members, SCR 59 instructs the enrolling clerk to make technical corrections to SB 968. One of the third reading amendments on SB 968 didn't fully synchronize between Senate Bill 966 and Senate Bill 968. The changes simply differentiate the level of oversight between a major public health disaster and a smaller, more localized public health emergency. Members, I move to adopt the Senate Concurrent Resolution 59.
The question occurs on the adoption of SCR 59. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Ms. Click voting aye. Show Ms. Bowers voting aye. All members voting. There have been 135 ayes and 0 nays. The resolution is adopted. The chair lays out the following privileged resolution. The clerk will read the resolution. Members, the chair recognizes Mr. Capriglione for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I move to suspend all necessary rules to take up and consider House Resolution number 1993.
You heard the motion. The objection to the motion, chair hears none, so ordered. The chair lays out H.R. 1993 and recognizes Mr. Capriglione to explain the resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, members, as you know, many businesses are facing a shortage of semiconductors. These are called chips, not the ones we eat, but rather the chips used to power so many of our electronic devices today. They are essential components for cell phones, military equipment, as well as automobiles. As an example, the average car has over 3,000 chips in it. This shortage of chips threatens many of our companies today. Members, semiconductors are the 6th largest manufacturing sector in Texas. H.R. 1993 urges Congress to pass the Chips for America Act, or equivalent. This effort would strengthen and sustain American leadership in technology and is essential to our national security. I move adoption. Thank you. Appreciate it. I didn't know if he was going to ask me. He's on a photo.
The question occurs on the adoption of H.R. 1993. This is a record vote required by the Constitution. The clerk to ring the bell. Chairman Busey voting aye. Mr. Capriglione voting aye. Ms. Rose voting aye. All members voting. There being 140 ayes and 0 nays, the resolution is adopted. Mr. Huberty, for what purpose?
Murphy and I were in the back wondering if this was Capriglione offering a third reading amendment. We were just trying to get some clarification on one of his bills.
The chair is not advised, but it sounds like a third reading amendment. Is Mr. Rogers on the floor of the House? Members, please give Mr. Rogers your attention.
Members, speakers, guests in the gallery, today's a very special day, Memorial Day, when we recognize those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and have given us the freedom that we cherish. It's also sine die and the end of a productive session. But let me tell you what else today is. It's the 17th birthday for my daughter, Leah Grace Rogers. And all our families have sacrificed much during this session, during our journey to get here, and throughout our service and our term of office. And we owe a great deal of gratitude to all those families, friends that have supported us throughout this journey. My wife, for instance, couldn't be here today because she's taking care of her parents who are ill, and I wasn't there to help her. But let me tell you something real quick about Leah. Back a couple of months ago, I missed one of her track meets. And I called her and I said, Leah, I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. And she says, Dad, that's all right. It's for Texas. And I'll always remember her saying that. And I think that just exemplifies the sacrifices that our families make for us each and every day. I love you, Leah, and happy birthday.
Members, we have a couple congratulatory and memorial calendars. Mr. Guillen.
Members, we're about to consider the congratulatory memorial calendar that was set for 10 a.m. today and the suspension calendar authorized this morning and posted in chamber documents. Members, we're ready to begin consideration of the congratulatory calendar. The chair lays before the House. The following resolutions have been previously adopted. H.R. 1978. The chair lays before the House the following congratulatory resolutions. The clerk will read the resolutions.
H.R. 1034 by Hinojosa, honoring the participants in the 2021 Texas Folklife Apprenticeships in the Folk and Traditional Arts Program. H.R. 1818 by Rodas Perez, honoring Yolanda Argueses. H.R. 1873 by Gervin Hawkins, commending the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of the Southwest. H.R. 1819 by Rodas Perez, honoring Emma Acosta. H.R. 1820 by Rodas Perez, honoring Dora Oaxaca. H.R. 1821 by Rodas Perez, honoring Ruth Ybarra Williams. H.R. 1822 by Rodas Perez, honoring Francesco Weigel. H.R. 1823 by Rodas Perez, honoring Dawn Heather Weigel. H.R. 1824 by Rodas Perez, honoring Christina Vargas. H.R. 1825 by Rodas Perez, honoring Lucille Tarrin. H.R. 1826 by Rodas Perez, honoring Diana Stillman. H.R. 1827 by Rodas Perez, honoring Martina Silva. H.R. 1828 by Rodas Perez, honoring Megan R. Salazar. H.R. 1829 by Rodas Perez, honoring Noelle Ruth Rosenbaum. H.R. 1830 by Rodas Perez, honoring Ailey Surnina. H.R. 1831 by Rodas Perez, honoring Alice Rosas. H.R. 1832 by Rodas Perez, honoring Ana Luis Perez. H.R. 1833 by Rodas Perez, honoring Patty Lee Pinion. H.R. 1834 by Rodas Perez, honoring Balin Robles. H.R. 1835 by Rodas Perez, honoring Gloria Paxson. H.R. 1836 by Rodas Perez, honoring Amy Salcido Paz. H.R. 1837 by Rodas Perez, honoring Mihaela Mantu. H.R. 1838 by Rodas Perez, honoring Marie Mir. H.R. 1839 by Rodas Perez, honoring Mila Mejia. H.R. 1840 by Rodas Perez, honoring Joan C. Lopez. H.R. 1841 by Rodas Perez, honoring Catherine Lucero. H.R. 1842 by Rodas Perez, honoring Gracie Lawrence. H.R. 1843 by Rodas Perez, honoring Melody Jimenez. H.R. 1844 by Rodas Perez, honoring Amy Hernandez. H.R. 1845 by Rodas Perez, honoring Angie Garcia. H.R. 1846 by Rodas Perez, honoring Betty Ann Halberton. H.R. 1847 by Rodas Perez, honoring Mady Fitzgerald. H.R. 1848 by Rodas Perez, honoring Jan Ingalls. H.R. 1849 by Rodas Perez, honoring Enrique G. Fierro. H.R. 1850 by Rodas Perez, honoring Carmen S. Duarte. H.R. 1851 by Rodas Perez, honoring Yvonne Daniels. H.R. 1852 by Rodas Perez, honoring Ramona de la Paz Torres. H.R. 1853 by Rodas Perez, honoring Yolanda Clay. H.R. 1854 by Rodas Perez, honoring Maria Isila Castanon Williams. H.R. 1855 by Rodas Perez, honoring Cecilia Carpio. H.R. 1856 by Rodas Perez, honoring Barbara Gale Auckland. H.R. 1857 by Rodas Perez, honoring Bonnie Baker. H.R. 1858 by Rodas Perez, honoring Evangelina Balderrama. H.R. 1859 by Rodas Perez, honoring Angie Barajas. H.R. 1860 by Rodas Perez, honoring Patricia Controlla. H.R. 1860 by Rodas Perez, honoring Dorothy May Bird. H.R. 1862 by Rodas Perez, honoring Alexandra Buckley. H.R. 1863 by Rodas Perez, honoring Soledad Buchanan. H.R. 1864 by Rodas Perez, honoring Elizabeth Urbinen Barron. H.R. 1865 by Rodas Perez, honoring Mary Bowles Gasca. H.R. 1867 by Gervin Hawkins, congratulating Mrs. Kitchen Soul Food Restaurant and Bakery in Windcrest on its success. H.R. 1874 by Gervin Hawkins, paying tribute to Mr. and Mrs. G's home cooking and pastries in San Antonio. H.R. 1875 by Oliverson, congratulating Houston Methodist. H.R. 1876 by Oliverson, congratulating Zeke Gerbitz of Cypress Woods High School. H.R. 1878 by Smithy, congratulating the Canyon High School girls basketball team. H.R. 1879 by Smithy, congratulating the Texline High School boys basketball team. H.R. 1880 by Gervin Hawkins, commending Liz Franklin. H.R. 1881 by Slauson, congratulating Victoria Saucedo of Stephenville. H.R. 1882 by Slauson, congratulating Courtney McGuire of Stephenville. H.R. 1883 by Slauson, congratulating Taryn Gibbs of Stephenville. H.R. 1884 by Gervin Hawkins, commending Beverly Watts Davis. H.R. 1885 by Price, commending Dr. Robert G. Bob Robinson. H.R. 1886 by Price, congratulating Ethan Rubinier of Tascosa High School. H.R. 1887 by Price, commending the staff of the Moore County Hospital District. H.R. 1889 by Price, commending the staff members of Northwest Texas Healthcare System. H.R. 1890 by Niave, congratulating Campbell Chase of Woodrow Wilson High School. H.R. 1891 by Niave, congratulating Evelyn Pate of Woodrow Wilson High School in Dallas. H.R. 1892 by Niave, congratulating Mackenzie McCullough of Woodrow Wilson High School in Dallas. H.R. 1893 by Niave, congratulating Ryan Bott. H.R. 1894 by Niave, honoring the Fly Lower and Gather flag program. H.R. 1895 by Price, commending BSA Health System in Amarillo. H.R. 1896 by Rodriguez, congratulating Sanford James of Eastside Memorial Early College High School. H.R. 1897 by Niave, commemorating the completion of Front Street Station in Mesquite. H.R. 1898 by Niave, commending the Skyline High School Ignite Club. H.R. 1899 by Niave, congratulating David Smith. H.R. 1900 by Niave, congratulating Kamisha McCready. H.R. 1901 by Niave, congratulating Alicia Rubio. H.R. 1902 by Niave, congratulating Tiffany Gonzalez. H.R. 1903 by Niave, congratulating Deidre Reeves. H.R. 1904 by Niave, congratulating Michael Distefani. H.R. 1905 by Niave, congratulating Carol Freeman. H.R. 1906 by Niave, congratulating Jennifer Horan. H.R. 1907 by Niave, congratulating Tracy Ramsey. H.R. 1908 by Niave, congratulating Janelle Cumbier. H.R. 1909 by Niave, congratulating Gloria Arujo. H.R. 1910 by Niave, congratulating Brianna Bell. H.R. 1911 by Niave, congratulating Susanna Ariano. H.R. 1912 by Niave, congratulating Renee Mitchell. H.R. 1913 by Niave, congratulating Sergio Vargas. H.R. 1914 by Niave, congratulating Rachel Seigla. H.R. 1915 by Niave, congratulating Christina Perez. H.R. 1916 by Niave, congratulating Courtney Ammerman. H.R. 1970 by Niave, congratulating Julie Gomez. H.R. 1918 by Niave, congratulating Daniela Canabu. H.R. 1919 by Niave, congratulating Tamiko Jones-McGee. H.R. 1920 by Niave, congratulating Tamika Hawkins. H.R. 1921 by Niave, congratulating Bethany Bach. H.R. 1922 by Niave, congratulating Logan Cornelison. H.R. 1923 by Niave, congratulating Juan Carlos Gomez Buznico. H.R. 1924 by Niave, congratulating Devitra Dewberry. H.R. 1925 by Niave, congratulating Wendy Swanner. H.R. 1926 by Niave, congratulating Wendy Campbell. H.R. 1927 by Niave, congratulating Carolyn Daughtry. H.R. 1928 by Niave, congratulating Natalie Ramirez. H.R. 1929 by Niave, congratulating Shelby Aramis. H.R. 1930 by Niave, congratulating Falasati Miller. H.R. 1931 by Niave, congratulating Jasmine Perkins. H.R. 1932 by Niave, congratulating Portia Smith. H.R. 1933 by Niave, congratulating Sandra Salazar. H.R. 1934 by Niave, congratulating Susan Napier. H.R. 1935 by Niave, congratulating Cassie Saragar. H.R. 1936 by Niave, congratulating Jessica McCarty. H.R. 1937 by Niave, congratulating Whitney Williams. H.R. 1938 by Niave, congratulating Alina Jimenez. H.R. 1939 by Niave, congratulating Shelley Reagan. H.R. 1940 by Niave, congratulating Teresa McWilliams. H.R. 1941 by Niave, congratulating Rudy McKay. H.R. 1942 by Niave, congratulating Blair Cox. H.R. 1943 by Niave, congratulating Erica Ramos. H.R. 1944 by Niave, congratulating Amber McMillan. H.R. 1945 by Niave, congratulating Courtney Fletcher. H.R. 1946 by Niave, congratulating Christy White. H.R. 1947 by Herrero, congratulating the Moody High School Choir. H.R. 1948 by Price, commending Golden Plains Community Hospital of Hutchinson County for its service during the COVID-19 pandemic. H.R. 1949 by Price, commending Hal Talton. H.R. 1950 by Metcalf, honoring the Legislative Reference Library. H.R. 1951 by Price, commemorating June 14th, 2021 as Flag Day. H.R. 1952 by Price, commemorating June 14th, 2022 as Flag Day. H.R. 1955 by Gervin Hawkins, commending Justin Gonzalez. H.R. 1957 by Anchia, commending Lorraine Garcia. H.R. 1958 by Anchia, commending Eni Ojeda. H.R. 1959 by Anchia, commending Tessa Nimick. H.R. 1960 by Anchia, commending Sienna Marr. H.R. 1962 by Guerin, commemorating the 75th anniversary of the passage of the Lanham Act. H.R. 1963 by Gervin Hawkins, honoring Aranetta Pierce of San Antonio. H.R. 1964 by Price, commending Hannah Lisenby. H.R. 1965 by Gervin Hawkins, commending Arnold Wade of Houston. H.R. 1968 by Dutton, recognizing the importance of school nutrition programs and providing meals to children who have faced food insecurity, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. H.R. 1973 by Fierro, recognizing April as Parkinson's Disease Awareness Month. H.R. 1974 by Smithy, congratulating Jackson Harwell and Eleanor Archer of Amarillo High School. H.R. 1975 by Smithy, congratulating the Amarillo High School boys and girls track teams. H.R. 1976 by Smithy, congratulating Faith Anderson of Amarillo High School. H.R. 1977 by Smithy, congratulating the Amarillo High School boys basketball team. H.R. 1981 by King of Uvalde, commending Cody Davenport. H.R. 1995 by Price, commending the faculty, research staff, student support staff, and administration of the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center at Amarillo. H.R. 1983 by White, commending Hayden Paget. H.R. 1984 by Niave, congratulating Coach Darius Mitchell. H.R. 1985 by Niave, congratulating Roger Perry. H.R. 1986 by Niave, congratulating Mark Ramsey. H.R. 1987 by Niave, congratulating Gina Huang of Dallas. H.R. 1988 by Niave, commending Manuel Teliz. H.R. 1989 by Niave, congratulating Lauren Joby. H.R. 1990 by Cassell, commending Caleb Barkman. H.R. 1991 by Cassell, congratulating Parton Wakefield of Shady W Ranch in Brazos County. H.R. 1996 by Mesa, congratulating Deputy Chief Larry D. Simmons. H.R. 1998 by Gonzalez of Dallas, commemorating the 2021 Grand Prairie Juneteenth celebration and parade. H.R. 1999 by Turner of Dallas, congratulating Joseph Sotelo. H.R. 2000 by Davis, congratulating the Reverend Dr. Stephen C. Nash. H.R. 2001 by Price, recognizing June 2021 as National Dairy Month in Texas. H.R. 2002 by Price, recognizing June 2022 as National Dairy Month in Texas. H.R. 2003 by Gonzalez of El Paso, commemorating the 100th anniversary of William Beaumont Army Medical Center in El Paso. HR 2004 by Gonzalez of El Paso, commemorating the 246th birthday of the U.S. Army. HR 2010 by Bowers, congratulating Tori Roan. HR 2011 by Gervin Hawkins, committing the Honorable Joey Contreras. HR 2012 by Gervin Hawkins, committing Judge Raymond Angelini for his service to Bexar County. HR 2016 by Gervin Hawkins, committing the Honorable Edward C. Prado. HR 2017 by Guillen, congratulating Crisanto Salinas. HR 2031 by Buckley, honoring Kelly Flading of Killeen. HR 2042 by Vogt, commending Gwen Knock Han Kelly. HR 2046 by Cassell, congratulating Grayson Nicchio. HR 2054 by Shine, commending Dustin Trop. HR 2055 by Shine, commending Bryn Brown. HR 2056 by Shine, commending Leighton Brown. HR 2060 by Johnson of Dallas, commending the staff members of State Representative Julie Johnson. HR 2075 by Johnson of Dallas, congratulating Dr. Asma Anwar. HR 2077 by Guerra, congratulating the Southern Methodist University Geothermal Lab. HR 2078 by Guerra, congratulating the Bureau of Economic Geology. HR 2079 by Gervin Hawkins, congratulating retired Judge Stephen C. Hilbig for his contributions to Bexar County. HR 2081 by Niave, commending Mitchell Crow. HR 2082 by Guillen, congratulating Ernesto Francisco Cavazos. HR 2083 by Allen, honoring Lily Schechter. HR 2087 by Cassell, commending Judge Rick Hill. HR 2088 by Anchia, congratulating Samuel Ojeda. HR 2089 by Turner of Dallas, commending the staff and interns in the Office of State Representative John Turner for their service during the 87th legislature. HR 2090 by Niave, recognizing September 30th, 2021 as Vanessa Guillen Day. HR 2091 by Niave, commemorating the 2021 Mesquite Juneteenth celebration. HR 2094 by Niave, recognizing Diaz y 6 de Septiembre 2021. HR 2096 by Niave, congratulating Ethan Hull. HR 2097 by Niave, honoring Somos Tejas. HR 2098 by Niave, congratulating Danny Kennedy. HR 2099 by Niave, commemorating El Dia de los Muertos 2021. HR 2101 by Hernandez, honoring the fellows of the 2021 Moreno Rangel Legislative Internship Leadership Program. HR 2102 by Smithy, congratulating the boys and girls wrestling teams from Randall High School and Amarillo.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolutions? Chair hears none. The resolutions are adopted. Members, please take your seats. We're ready to begin consideration of the memorial calendar. The chair lays before the House the following memorial resolutions. The clerk will read the resolutions.
HR 1869 by Guillen, in memory of Federico Falcon. HR 1870 by Guillen, in memory of Michael Edwin Eddie Kendrick Jr. of Crockett. HR 1871 by Guillen, in memory of Frank Garza Leal of Pleasanton. HR 1872 by Herrero, in memory of Amelia Millie Ybarra Phillips. HR 1877 by Gervin Hawkins, in memory of William and Addie Garner of San Antonio. HR 1888 by Niave, in memory of Joseph Jojo Arbini Townsend Howard of Dallas. HR 1953 by Guillen, in memory of Guadalupe and Aaliyah Munoz. HR 1954 by Guillen, in memory of Toraldo and Josefa Perez of Rio Grande City. HR 1956 by Campos, in memory of Patsy H. Gonzalez of Bexar County. HR 1961 by Guillen, in memory of Gilberto Trejo of Rio Grande City. HR 1970 by Guillen, in memory of Lauro and Maria Celia Lopez of Rio Grande City. HR 1971 by Vasud, in memory of Brazoria County Deputy Constable Brad Andrew Briscoe. HR 1972 by Vasud, in memory of Billy Ray Richardson of Ingleton. HR 1979 by Zwiener, in memory of Cheryl Brander Archer of San Marcos. HR 1980 by Zwiener, in memory of William Douglas Peña Rios of San Marcos. HR 1992 by Vasud, in memory of Lillian Ruth Hertel of Ingleton. HR 2013 by Gervin Hawkins, commemorating the life and service of Judge Pat Priest. HR 2015 by Gervin Hawkins, paying tribute to the memory of the Honorable John Gallardo Benavides, the first Mexican-American appointed as a district judge of Bexar County. HR 2018 by Guillen, in memory of Virginia Q. Cantua Burney. HR 2019 by Guillen, in memory of Hortensia G. Serna of San Diego, Texas. H.R. 2020 by Guillen in memory of Roberto and Hermedia Trevino of Kingsville. H.R. 2021 by Guillen in memory of Renee J. Gonzalez of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2023 by Guillen in memory of Felix Rendon of Poteet. H.R. 2024 by Guillen in memory of Guadalupe M. Pena of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2025 by Guillen in memory of Hector F. Ramos of Hebronville. H.R. 2026 by Guillen in memory of Corando B. Perez of San Diego, Texas. H.R. 2028 by Guillen in memory of Brian James Boyd of Pleasanton. H.R. 2029 by Guillen in memory of John McCaskill of Jordanton. H.R. 2030 by Guillen paying tribute to the life of Carlos Segura Casas of McMullen County. H.R. 2032 by Guillen in memory of Jack Erwin Rutherford of Jordanton. H.R. 2033 by Guillen in memory of Luis Angel Gomez, Sr. of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2034 by Guillen in memory of Flavio Villarreal, Sr. of El Sauz. H.R. 2035 by Guillen in memory of Renato Borromeo Chavez of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2036 by Swanson in memory of Dwight Clint Moore. H.R. 2037 by Guillen in memory of Silviano Moore and Gonzalez of Cotulla. H.R. 2038 by Swanson in memory of Russell Mark Taylor. H.R. 2039 by Guillen in memory of John William Hayes. H.R. 2040 by Guillen in memory of Zenaida Montemor of San Diego. H.R. 2041 by Guillen in memory of Onofre Baldemar Rodriguez of Roma. H.R. 2043 by Guillen in memory of Joseph R. Patton of Freer. H.R. 2044 by Guillen in memory of Juan Roberto Garcia Falfrias. H.R. 2045 by Guillen in memory of Willie E. Sneed of Poteet. H.R. 2047 by Cassell in memory of James B. Pruitt. H.R. 2048 by Guillen in memory of John Stanley Viveka Jr. H.R. 2049 by Guillen in memory of Norman Neal Han of Pleasanton. H.R. 2050 by Guillen in memory of Dillard H. Weed of Hebronville. H.R. 2051 by Guillen in memory of Maria Cucarafuria Cantu of Charlotte. H.R. 2052 by Guillen in memory of Napoleon G. Polo Sanchez of Lytle. H.R. 2053 by Guillen in memory of Charles Robert Oaklers of Pleasanton. H.R. 2057 by Guillen in memory of Alton Raymond Ray Samsel of Pleasanton. H.R. 2058 by Guillen in memory of Robert Eugene Bob Dismang. H.R. 2059 by Guillen in memory of Roberto G. Rodriguez of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2061 by Guillen in memory of Oscar R. Vela of Halfrius. H.R. 2062 by Guillen in memory of Daniel Ray Neal of Poteet. H.R. 2063 by Guillen in memory of Humberto Villarreal of Falfarias. H.R. 2064 by Guillen in memory of Abraham Ruiz of Raymondville. H.R. 2065 by Guillen in memory of Jimmy Edward Jones. H.R. 2066 by Guillen in memory of Fred Earl Bennett Jr. of Poteet. H.R. 2067 by Guillen in memory of Roger Olivares Compian. H.R. 2068 by Guillen in memory of Herschel Harold Hall of Cotulla. H.R. 2069 by Guillen in memory of Romeo Garcia of Rio Grande City. H.R. 2070 by Guillen in memory of Jose Chuy Jesus Ruiz of Hebronville. H.R. 2071 by Guillen in memory of Leonel Molina Science of Relitos. H.R. 2072 by Guillen in memory of Jamie Garcia of San Diego, Texas. H.R. 2073 by Guillen in memory of Daniel Garcia of Garciasville. H.R. 2074 by Guillen in memory of Gilberto Garza Science of Falfurrias. H.R. 2080 by Moody in memory of Dr. Lucy Therese Scarborough of El Paso. H.R. 2092 by Niabe in memory of George Eric Cassidy of Las Vegas, Nevada. H.R. 2095 by Toth in memory of the Reverend Donald R. Gerbert of the Woodlands. H.R. 2100 by Spiller in memory of John S. Aston of Gainesville. H.R. 2103 by Crockett in memory of Mabel Louise Moffett of Dallas.
All those in favor of adoption of the resolutions, please rise. The resolutions are unanimously adopted.
Mr. Murphy. Mr. Turner of Tarrant, you're next. Collier, you're after Mr. Turner of Tarrant. The chair recognizes Mr. Murphy for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, it's a great pleasure today to announce on behalf of the House Republican Caucus the member that we have selected as our Freshman of the Year. Hope he's still here. From House District 26 of Fort Bend County, Representative J.C. Jatan has proven himself an effective and passionate member of the House Republican Caucus. J.C., you here?
Mr. Jatan.
You have a lot of fans.
JC's in the back hall eating a hot dog. We will get him out here.
Lunch is important. What? I can't pick you, Ryan. I want to. Anyway, members, I do have a couple notes here. In February of the session, the officers of the caucus saw the potential of Representative Chan, and he was appointed as an at-large member of the caucus policy committee, and he additionally served as one of our floor leaders. You may have seen him working hard in that respect. JC is really one of the people that we think it represents the future of what our party has. He's a hard worker. Where is he? Here he is. Come on up here. He's an exceptional member, and we think somebody who has a very, very bright future and a long tenure in the Texas House. Please congratulate J.C. Jatan. Thank you, buddy. Here. Thank you, Speaker.
Congratulations, Mr. Jatan. The chair recognizes Mr. Turner of Tarrant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I'd invite any members of the Texas House Democratic Caucus who are in the chamber to join me up here as we introduce our Freshman of the Year. We've been blessed this session to have 6 outstanding Democratic freshmen from all corners of the state. So our members, when we voted on this, had a very tough decision. But we can only have one House Democratic Caucus Freshman of the Year. And she is someone who's translated her passion for justice from the courthouse to the State House. She's a tremendous team player who has worked with Democrats and Republicans to pass meaningful legislation in her first session. She's proven to be a skilled negotiator, a relentless fighter for public policy, passing a number of bills this session, including one that will establish standalone facilities dedicated to the recovery and protection of victims of human trafficking. She's a powerful voice on the front mic and on the back mic, a wonderful addition to our caucus, and we're proud to name Representative Ann Johnson, the Texas House Democratic Caucus Freshman of the Year.
Congratulations, Ms. Johnson. The chair recognizes Ms. Collier for recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, we'd like to recognize our Freshman of the Year. This individual has been a dynamic leader. She has boldly introduced legislation to change the face of Texas, to change the policies in Texas. She unapologetically represents her constituency, and we are so proud to have her join the Texas Legislative Black Caucus and be a part of our voice. And today, we'd like to honor our very own, come on, very own Representative Jasmine Crockett, District 100.
Congratulations, Ms. Crockett. The chair recognizes Ms. Hernandez for an announcement. Chair recognizes Mr. Gonzalez for an announcement. Dr. Gonzalez of El Paso County for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members, on behalf of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus, the oldest and largest Latino legislative caucus in the country, representing 7 million Texans, I would like to personally commend all of our MALC freshmen for their dedication and outstanding service. Today, I am honored to announce our 2021 MALC Freshman of the Year, State Representative Penny Morales Shaw of House District 148. Rep. Morales Shaw has shown true dedication to MALC's mission of advancing the interests of all Texans with a focus on our Latino constituents on public education, civil and voting rights. Rep. Morales Shaw has proven to be a true public servant in her district and in this chamber. Members, join me in celebrating Rep. Penny Morales Shaw and thanking Speaker Dade Phelan, who so graciously has presented this gavel to Rep. Morales Shaw as a token of MALC's sincere appreciation and commendation. Thank you.
Real honor. This is actually exactly what I wanted. So thank you, Speaker, and thank y'all. It's been my honor to be here with each of you. Thank you.
Ms. Morales Shaw, if you keep up the great work, I have a whole drawer full of gavels down here. So keep up the great work. The chair recognizes Ms. Dr. Gonzalez of El Paso again for recognition.
Representative Gonzalez of Dallas.
The chair recognizes Ms. Gonzalez of Dallas County for recognition.
Thank you, members. As Vice Chair of the Texas House LGBTQ Caucus, which was founded last session, we started our own award for our Freshman of the Year, and we can go on and on about how great Representative Ann Johnson is. I think we've already heard some of her great work, but she jumped right in and got to work with us in helping us fight for equality and helping us defeat against anti-LGBTQ legislation. So join me in congratulating Representative Johnson as Freshman of the Year for the LGBTQ Caucus.
Congratulations, Ms. Johnson. Chair recognizes Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. As co-vice chair of the Legislative Study Group, and on behalf of Chairman Coleman, I am honored to present the Legislative Study Group Freshman of the Year Award to Representative Elizabeth Liz Campos. Joining with the other 37 women in the Texas House, Representative Campos is the first woman to represent House District 119 in Bexar County. Representative Campos has worked diligently to address the needs of our state and everyday Texas families, passing legislation to move Texas forward on homelessness and affordable housing issues and the needs of long-term care facilities. The Legislative Study Group is proud to have Representative Campos as a member, and we look forward to continuing the work of making Texas a great place to live together. Congratulations, Representative Campos.
Thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Campos. The chair recognizes Mr. Wally. Chair recognizes Ms. Campos.
Well, this is a real honor, and I'm so proud to be here. You have no idea. I really appreciate each and every one of you because y'all have been so amazing to me and have really welcomed me, and it's a real honor to be serving with all of you. So thank you so much. Again, it's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you. Thank you.
The chair recognizes Mr. Wally.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, on behalf of the Mexican American Legislative Caucus, which was founded back in 2003, the foundation sponsors the Moreno Rangel Legislative Leadership Program each legislative session. And so the program offers a lot of our young people, undergraduate, graduated students, the opportunity to gain firsthand experience in the Texas House of Representatives. So this was a resolution, HR 2101, I believe, that was previously adopted, and it's named after the late Paul Moreno, the longest-serving Hispanic member of the House, and the late Irma Rangel, the first Mexican-American woman to serve in the Texas legislature. So this year, the program welcomed the largest class of fellows since its inception. And we want to recognize these young people by name, and it's an honor to recognize the 19 legislative fellows for their service and hard work to the people of Texas and to those in our offices. So I want to congratulate on behalf of the Moreno Rangel Legislative Leadership Program, Zion Amoria Mengisha. I hope I pronounced that right. I think they're in the gallery. There we go. Daniel Arispe, Yuri Barragan, Fabiola Barreto, Bianca Carizal. Okay, y'all can continue to stand. Leonardo Garcia, Rebecca Flores, Lisette Galvan, Lorraine Garcia, Jacqueline George, Sandra Lopez, Melissa Medina, Andrea Medina Alvarado, Annie Ojeda Alamia, Andrea Orozco, Pedro Ortiz Menchaca, Brandy Ann Peña, Ana Silvas, and Jacqueline Vallardes. Congratulations to the Moreno Rangel class of 2021. We are so proud of you and wish you the best of luck in the future. Thank you, members. Thank you, young people, and all the young people in our offices that are serving as well.
The chair recognizes Mr. Deshotel for recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to recognize my staff, but first I want to give a little background about how important their work was this year. Going back to when we were giving committee appointments and I was made chair of Land Resource Management, I must say I wasn't a happy camper, Mr. Speaker. Because I had been chaired that committee before. But I want to tell you that it was a wonderful experience because what landed on my desk was House Bill 2730. And I was told that this bill had been in the works for 6 years. So it was quite an honor to have been chosen to try to shepherd that through when it hadn't been done before. And I want to thank the House for 144 to 1 vote to send that to the Senate, and thank the Senate for what people said was impossible to come out on the local calendar. And this is going to be so important to so many landowners in Texas. Many of you urban people know nothing about this, but if you're a rural member, you know what it means to have pipelines and roads and things come across your private property and not have the ability to say, have a real say. But now that has changed because of the faith the Speaker has put in me. But more important, I think, is my staff. And I want to thank, Christian Manuel, my chief of staff, and Cade, my legislative assistants. But this honestly would not have happened without Melissa Quevedo, my legislative director and chair of the Committee on Land Resource Management, who was able to pull these parties, these diverse parties, these parties who were hardly speaking to each other at the beginning of the session, pull them all together to get a bill out the way we did. She did a yeoman's job, and I can't thank her enough or recognize her enough for the hard work, confidence, and loyalty she showed to me and to the process. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to give that recognition of both you and to my staff. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Congratulations. The chair recognizes Mr. Deshotel for one more recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. She wasn't here, but I know y'all can't believe that I forgot Jackie Savoy because she wasn't in front of me every day, but she worked from the district, took care of lunch every day, took care of my schedule. She did a great job. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Don't forget Jackie.
What's the matter with you?
Mr. Moody, for what purpose?
Is the Speaker's desk clear?
Members, the Speaker's desk is clear.
Then, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House of Representatives of the 87th Legislature regular session stand adjourned sine die, pending receipt of messages from the Senate, signing of measures in the presence of the House, and administrative matters in memory of the victims of the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting in El Paso. Jordan Anchondo, Andre Anchondo, Arturo Benavides, Javier Rodriguez, Sarah Esther Regalado Moriel, Adolfo Ceros Hernandez, Gloria Irma Marquez, Maria Eugenia Legareta Roth, Ivan Manzano, Juan de Dios Velázquez Chaires, David Johnson, Leonardo Campos Jr., Maribel Campos, Angelina Silva Englesby, Maria Flores, Raúl Flores, Jorge Calvillo Garcia, Alexander Gerhard Hoffman, Luis Alfonso Juarez, Elsa Mendoza de la Mora, Margie Record, Teresa Sanchez, and Memo Garcia.
Members, you've heard the motion. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The Texas House of Representatives of the 87th Legislature regular session stands adjourned sine die, pending the receipt of messages from the Senate, signing of measures in the presence of the House, and administrative matters in memory of the victims of the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting in El Paso.